3 months after the crew returned to Earth, Maxwell called his brother Jack to ask about his nephew, who had become an artist. Jack was delighted to hear from him, and Maxwell promised he would be visiting England in a few months to see his son. "Hi, Max. How are you doing today?" Ernest's voice broke Maxwell's concentration as he stepped into the garage. Maxwell, who was still on the phone, quickly told his brother he would call back later before hanging up. "Hi, Ernest. How are you?" Maxwell asked, standing up to grab a spinner from his toolbox. "I'm fine." "What's wrong with your car?" Ernest replied. Maxwell explained that the car needed servicing since it had not been driven for 16 years. "You must have done a good job washing the dust off this thing," Ernest remarked, resting his hands on his waist. Maxwell chuckled, then asked how Ernest was doing and whether his $5 million was still intact. Ernest told him he had invested it before their mission and was expecting about $3 million in profit. "Wow, $3 million profit? That makes it $8 million in total. You're a very rich man now," Maxwell exclaimed. Ernest grinned and mentioned that he was planning a vacation the following month, persuading Maxwell to join him. They planned to visit Maryland and stay in some expensive hotels. Maxwell agreed, but first asked if Ernest could accompany him to see Chen in the hospital the following week, since Chen was still weak from the trip and had not been discharged. They both agreed to go on Thursday. At 8:45 a.m. on the appointed Thursday morning, Maxwell and Ernest arrived at the hospital. They spoke to Chen's doctor, who explained gravely that Chen had developed a high fever. "It's as though his body is trying to adapt to Earth like an alien," the doctor said. "His system isn't acclimatized to our environment. I just pray he makes it." The two men were not allowed into Chen's room, so they peered at him through the glass door, hearts heavy with worry. That same evening, Maxwell and Ernest met with Dave and John to brief them about Chen's condition. "Chen's mother is still in Asia, and we don't even know how to reach her. It's been 18 years since she went back to China," John muttered sadly. "I believe Chen will be all right. Asians are known survivors," Dave replied confidently. "I believe too," Maxwell added, though John only nodded before standing to leave. The four men shook hands, preparing to part ways, when John received a call from Sophia about an emergency at home. He rushed back immediately, only to find his wife waiting in a seductive gown. Sophia sat on his thigh in the living room, and then wrapped her right hand across his shoulders as she looked at him with a smiley face. John, placing his left hand on her waist, quickly lifted her up and carried her into the bedroom as both of them went into laughter. "So this is the emergency?" John asked in a low voice. Sophia only smiled as she unbuttoned his shirt, and the couple had a passionate night. The following morning, Sophia was still asleep when her phone buzzed with a message. John, awakened by the sound, picked it up to check the time, only to notice a heart emoji at the beginning of the message. Curious, he opened it. "I still can't get our moment out of my mind. You are amazing, and I wish I had met you before your husband. Now that he's back, I don't think we'll be able to spend much time together. I love you, and I hope to hear from you soon." Dr. John's face twisted with rage and disgust. Slowly, he turned to look at his wife, sleeping peacefully beside him. Without a word, he got out of bed, showered, and dressed in a white t-shirt, gray trousers, a gray hood, and a black cap. "I will investigate this. I will investigate this," he muttered over and over as he walked out of the house, leaving Sophia asleep, unaware that her secret had been uncovered.